We're 6 months away from one of the most consequential elections in India's history. Make no mistake, the outcome of this election will decide the course of Bharat. This is because the contest is essentially a clash of narratives. Prime Minister Modi envisions the rise of an Indic India steeped in its Hindu ethos. The Prime Minister believes that 1,000 years of settler colonization has created a class of Indians brainwashed into believing that its own culture was inferior. The BJP believes that it is essential to shed this colonial baggage. BJP hopes it will secure a fresh mandate in 2024 to continue its efforts to restore the glory of Bharat's dharmic traditions. The NDA will point out, and it has done so on quite a number of occasions, that a lot of work towards that end is already being done. The more visible among these initiatives, it says, is the placing of the ancient Sengol in the new parliament, the creation of religious corridors, the consecration of the Ram Mandir scheduled for next year, and the introduction of Hindu texts in school syllabi. The opposition India bloc thinks that the pivot towards a Hindu ethos is dangerous. Rahul Gandhi says that the BJP's divisive politics has destroyed communal harmony. In an essay for a leading newspaper, he writes that Hinduism is not a vehicle, according to him, for spreading hate, and that it can't be reduced to a set of cultural norms because doing so would be to bind it to geography. He said, and let me just quote him straight out of that article, to call Hinduism a set of cultural norms is to misunderstand it. To bind it to geography is to limit it. Hinduism is how we understand our relationship with our fear, unquote. Elsewhere, you may know this, viewers, Rahul has also tried to distinguish the Hindu faith from Hindutva. The Supreme Court, of course, has shot down any such distinction, but he continues to insist that the two are different. He's also kept silent when his own allies have slammed Sanatana Dharma, seeking its eradication. Some India bloc parties think that Sanatana Dharma is revealed Vedic dogma, reeking of an oppressive caste-centered Brahminism. They have called for its dismantling, the DMK being one of those parties. The BJP has slammed Rahul Gandhi and the India bloc for misleading the public. The party says that Rahul Gandhi's attempt at divorcing Sanatana Dharma from its Indic roots is an attempt at distortion. The party has also pointed to facts that suggest that Hindu tradition never advocated a doctrinal, permanent social hierarchy. Indeed, viewers, I have been investigating the facts, researching this particular story. The facts that Rahul is presented in his article. And what I have come up with shows that Rahul Gandhi and some of the Congress party allies may not have been quite right. They may not have got it absolutely spot on. And I think that bears to be revealed. Hindu Dharma is a universal philosophy that doesn't discriminate, and nor does it promote an us versus them worldview. There is no concept of the kafir in the Hindu tradition. While taking on casteism is necessary, and we must all do so, it is an evil. Remember, caste is an evil. But to use the evil of caste to demonize Sanatana Dharma reeks of prejudice and mendacity. Hindu Dharma is rooted to Indian civilization and is not inherently intolerant, iniquitous. Now, here are some hard facts that I have been able to pull out for you, viewers. And remember, why I present these hard facts to you. I present them so that you get closer to the truth, that you have greater information, so that you can make an unapologetic, qualified judgment of your own on what people are saying and on the leading issues of this country. So here are some of the hard facts that have been ignored by the Congress and the India bloc. Let me take you through them. They're on your screens. Remember, viewers, the Annie Besant, a big friend of the Congress, back in the day, freedom fighter, Sanatana Dharma, she says, was so perfect, so scientific, so philosophical, so spiritual. She said there can be no India without Hinduism. Rahul Gandhi, remember, told us, viewers, that you can't reduce Hinduism to a geographical limit. Here is Annie Besant saying that there can be no India without Hinduism. Viewers, birth-based division or codified hierarchy was not accepted in ancient times in the Hindu tradition. Sankara Digvijaya by Madhavacharya makes knowledge, not caste, the basis for social organization, and he was quoting the Vedas. Varna Parva of Mahabharata states, quote, "A man is not a Shudra by being born a Shudra and nor a Brahmin by being born a Brahmin," unquote. Evil of birth-based casteism is a distortion of the Varna system. Absolutely, viewers, a distortion of the Varna system which was not built on a tradition of hierarchy. Several reform movements within the Hindu fold worked to eradicate hierarchical casteism. Veer Savarkar of the Hindu Mahasabha was an ardent critic of hierarchical casteism and fought it. Hindutva is his pronouncement. So how can Hindutva, viewers, be discriminatory when Mr. Savarkar himself wanted to eradicate hierarchical casteism? Gandhiji himself, and today is of course Gandhi Jayanti, called himself a proud Sanatani Hindu. He called caste a monster, a distortion. He made a distinction. And therefore, viewers, tonight I am putting the facts out there so you know that a political project has been launched to discredit Sanatan Dharma and those who have espoused the concept of it. Now, viewers, before we go on to some of our guests this evening, I want to talk one-on-one to Mr. S. Gurumurthy. He's the Indic ideologue, very well known, editor of the Tamil magazine Tughlaq. He will join us in just a few moments and in his own words prove how Sanatan Dharma, viewers, Sanatan Dharma is the eternal truth and how the India bloc is misleading the public. This is all according to him. Let's go straight across to Mr. Gurumurthy. Viewers, let's go straight across to Mr. S. Gurumurthy. He needs no introduction. He has been, of course, at the forefront of trying to correct the misinformation that he claims is being spread about Sanatan Dharma. Wonderful to see you, sir. Always a pleasure to speak to you. Thank you for speaking to me on the Hard Facts and on News 18. I want to begin by asking you a very straightforward question, and it's a question that arises from the article that Rahul Gandhi has written in the Indian Express, actually in the Sunday Express, just about 2 days ago. He says that the Sangh has reduced Hindu Dharma to a narrow parochial set of cultural norms. Basically, he's suggesting that the Hindu philosophy, its cultural sort of interpretation to be extremely Indic, etc., is perhaps doing an injustice to it. It's misleading. How do you respond to that, sir?
See, then he must be knowing much more than Swami Vivekananda or Aurobindo, or he doesn't know them at all. And he must be knowing much more than Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru himself, or he doesn't know Nehru at all. Swami Vivekananda defined India as a Hindu nation. And he also explained our nationalism as Hindu nationalism. And Aurobindo said it is Hindu nationalism and Sanatana Dharma. And if Sanatana Dharma survives, Hindu nation will survive. If Sanatana Dharma doesn't survive, Hindu nation will not survive. You see, there is a confluence of the territory, the people, and their culture and value systems. This constitutes what we call as the nationalism. And Jawaharlal Nehru, in Glimpses of World History in 1935, he said that it is very difficult to draw a line between Bharat and its nationalism, because Bharat is the only country of Hindus. You cannot have people without territory, and you cannot have territory without people. The connection between the territory and the people is what is making a nation. Nehru recognized it and said that it is very difficult to draw a line between Bharat and its nationalism. And he went one step further. He said he accepts Swami Vivekananda's concept of Hindu nationalism, which he very powerfully articulated. And he said there is nothing which is against anybody in that concept. So Rahul hasn't read any of these things. So he is now propounding a new theory on the map of India, on the history of India, on the culture of India, about which great people like Swami Vivekananda, Aurobindo, and even his own great grandfather have written. How to answer a man who is so unaware of things?
I agree with you because I've just written a book myself where I have actually pulled out some of these quotes of Jawaharlal Nehru ji and of course of Swami Vivekananda, etc., where I have made allusions to it. So what you're saying is absolutely a fact. But Rahul Gandhi is not really speaking in isolation, is he, Mr. Gurumurthy? The India bloc has targeted Sanatan Dharma, saying that it's a Vedic revealed dogma reeking of an oppressive caste-centered Brahminism. Now, you've written an article rebuking the people who have made this comparison. Of course, you have not in any way justified the caste system, but you've called it an aberration. Can you illuminate us a little bit more on these thoughts that have occurred to you?
See, the whole thing started with a statement by a junior minister in Tamil Nadu, linking Sanatana Dharma to the caste divisions in this society. But it is not that he knows very much. And like Rahul Gandhi, he can also talk things without understanding what he talks and whether what he talks has any relevance to anything that has already been thought of by others. See, the issue in Tamil Nadu has been that Sanatana Dharma is a Vedic concept and it is linked to Varnashrama, and this has come from the north. This has been the theory that the DMK had expounded. But the ideological mentor of DMK, E.V. Ramsamy Nayak, Periyar, or the elder person as he is reverentially referred to by the DMK, he was the one who knew that there is no Tamil literature, Tamil culture, Tamil society, and Tamil spiritualism without Sanatana Dharma. And he abused the entire Tamil history, Tamil heritage, Tamil literature, and said that this is a pack of Sanatana Dharma ideas, and if you remove all this, there is nothing left in Tamil literature. For example, he said Tirukkural, which is the only literature the DMK celebrates. He says Tirukkural is a human excreta kept on a golden plate, because Tirukkural celebrates the learning and teaching of Vedas. It celebrates the Brahmin who teaches Vedas. So Periyar knew if you accepted Tirukkural, you have to accept these things. So the DMK accepted Tirukkural, but not these things. So if you look at the entire DMK discourse, it is only E.V. Ramsamy Nayak who was honest and said that there is no Tamil Nadu or Tamil culture or Tamil people without Sanatana Dharma. But the DMK is illiterate, so they want to suppress all this and go about saying that Sanatana Dharma has come from outside Dravidian territory. But I will tell you, all the three Sanatana Dharma Acharyas, Adi Shankaracharya, Madhvacharya, Ramanujacharya, all of them came from the Dravidian land. And two of them, Shankaracharya and Ramanujacharya, came from Tamil Nadu. And Shankaracharya's exposition of Advaita, was not limited even to human beings. It is not even limited to this world. It extends to the entire universe. He said the entire universe is one. There is nothing called humans. There is nothing called animals. There is nothing called nature. There is nothing called animate or inanimate. Everything is one. So he went far, far beyond that. That is not nationalism. That is a thought which this nation produced for other nations. So Shankaracharya traveled far, far beyond human divisions. He cannot be associated with caste. Take Ramanuja. Ramanuja was given a diksha by his guru, saying that you should not teach it to anyone who is not qualified. Ramanuja went on the top of a temple and gave the mantra diksha to all the castes. And everyone knew Ramanuja traveled beyond caste. He was without caste. And the most important thing is Karunanidhi, who is the grandfather of the junior minister who spoke derogatory about Sanatana Dharma, actually wrote the life history of Ramanuja and said here he is a man who didn't recognize any caste. And he took a film and he telecast it in his own television channel. So, two great acharyas who were born in Tamil Nadu, who expounded Sanatana Dharma, who expounded the concept of Varna Dharma, were known to be beyond caste. So, where does caste come into Sanatana Dharma or even Varna Dharma? Mahatma Gandhi said very clearly that the present caste system has nothing to do with Varna Dharma. Do they reject? They can reject Shankaracharya, they can reject Ramanuja. Can they reject Mahatma Gandhi? These are people who have read nothing, and I don't want to call them illiterates. They have nothing to do with what they don't know what they have said.
So let me ask you, because obviously over the years there has been reform within the Hindu tradition of caste. There have been reformists, and obviously that can only happen in a tradition that breathes and basically interrogates its own self. So clearly it is, in that sense, not a revealed dogma where everyone has to follow some particular book. So I just want to ask you, because the Dravidar parties, as you have mentioned in particular, want to eradicate it, saying that, look, it is riddled with casteism that has oppressed people. Then you have people like the JDU and the RJD leaders. They want changes in the texts of the Sanatan Dharmic tradition. So is it fundamentally, inherently discriminatory? Can we even use the word fundamentalist or fundamentals in describing its basis ethos?
I will first deal with the DMK.
Right.
The DMK is in a huge problem because DMK is wedded to Tamil literature, ancient Tamil scholars, and they can't, if they give it up, and their ideological base is gone. But E.V. Ramsam Naikar, who expounded the Dravidian ideology, which is guiding them on the other side, because DMK is riding two horses, Tamil and Dravidian. And the Dravidian ideologue or the ideological mentor said the entire Tamil is a bunch of Sanatana Dharma nonsense. And I will take, as I told you about Tirukural, I will tell you about Tolkappiyam, which is the only textbook of Tamil grammar. Minus that, there is no Tamil grammar at all. And there is no explanation for the Tamil way of life, ancient Tamil way of life, other than Tolkappiyam. Tolkappiyam explains two things. One, that Tolkappiyam was presented in the Sabha of the Pandya king. After it was got approved from one Adamgod to Assam, a 4 Vedic scholar from the village of Adamgodu, the Tolkappiyam, the author of Tolkappiyam, goes to him and says, is this correct? He says, this is correct according to the Panini's grammar principles. So the entire Tamil grammar is dependent on the four Vedic, the Chaturvedi scholar approving it. This is the first point. The second point is the Tolkappiyam says the Tamil society was divided into four Varnas. It says it is Arasar, Andanar, Vaishyar, and Velalar, which is the same as the king, the Brahman, the Vaishya, and the Sudra. And it also says this is what they can wear, this is what they should not wear, this is their rights and privileges. And this is Varna Dharma. This is Tamil, ancient Tamil literature. So E.V. Ramaswamy Nayakar said this should be burnt. Then I will come to Silappatikaram. This is a book, this is a Jain written by a Jain monk. And the most favorite book of Karunanidhi. In that, Kannagi, whose husband was given a capital punishment wrongly by the Pandya king, she comes and challenges the king and proves that her husband was wrongly killed. And the story is that she pinched one of her breasts and stoked fire out of it and burnt the entire Madurai city. But she made a point. She gave a warning to the fire which she generated. Don't burn the Brahmins, women, children, and cow. This is Sanatana Dharma. So E.V. Ramaswamy Nayakar said, what is this nonsense? So if you look at the Tamil past, heritage, literature, there is nothing other than Sanatana Dharma in this. So the DMK is in a very serious embarrassment. They cannot look to the past because E.V. Ramaswamy Nayakar said, if you look to the past, it is Sanatana Dharma. So the entire country had only one way of life. And this has been changing from time to time. Because in the Hindu philosophy, there are two distinct set of literature. One is Shruti and another is Smriti. Smriti changes from time to time. That is why Bal Gangadhara Tilak said how the Varna arises. He said, Chatur Varna Maya Srishtam Guna Karma Vipakashaga. This is what Krishna had said. That this Chatur Varna system comes out of quality and karma by work. Tilak said there is no Janma in it. So it cannot be by birth. Tilak's interpretation was very largely accepted by many. Mahatma Gandhi said no. Varna Dharma has no meaning unless it is by birth. You had freedom for both. Gandhi had also the freedom to say that, and Tilak had also the freedom to say that. No one can say Tilak is wrong or right, or Gandhi is wrong or right. What do these people know about these high minds which have gone into what is Sanatana Dharma and have taken two totally contrary different views?
Yes. Thank you very much, Mr. Gurumurthy, for putting your view forward in a extremely explanatory and well-researched way, because that's really the show's focus. It's called the hard facts. I interrogate the hard facts, I put out the hard facts, and let's hope we can start changing the narrative that is being built. Thank you very much, Mr. Gurumurthy.
There is nothing called easy facts. Facts are hard.
Absolutely. They're always hard, especially when they confront the propagandists. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Viewers, we've heard Mr. Gurumurthy then. Let's open this up. Let's take the hard facts to our panel now and get a sense of how this is going to go down in a debate format. And Dr. Ranganathan, good to see you back. Is the recent attack on Hindu Dharma part of a political project, or is it a robust and honest critique? How do you see it?
It's been absolutely wonderful to have you back on TV, and we absolutely look forward to every evening you reflecting on hard facts, as you say. So thank you so much, and congratulations for returning. As I see it, there are 4 issues out here, Rahul, because and all of them are intertwined, and all of them are related to browbeat and denigrate Hindus and Hinduism. Let's be very honest about it, because we're dealing with hard facts out here. Number one, Rahul, if you ask me the textbook definition of a banana republic, I would say that it is a republic where the Supreme Court stays silent on blatant violation of its own order. It has been exactly a month, in fact, since Uday Stalin wanted to eradicate Sanatan Dharma, a month since the Tamil Nadu government has been in direct contempt of the Supreme Court order of April that said states should immediately file cases in instances of hate speech. And yet, nothing has been done either by the state or the Supreme Court. So I can only infer that eradication of Hinduism, comparing it to dreadful, incurable diseases, calling it a menace upon the world, is not construed as hate speech by the Supreme Court. In which case, it begs the question, why did it then so ruthlessly come down on Nupur for merely quoting holy texts and infer it to be hate speech? Number two, it is not enough that we merely oppose Judaism. We should eradicate Judaism like we eradicate malaria and corona. Now, I ask all those supporting Stalin as well as the Supreme Court, is this statement not anti-Semitic? In fact, you'd be arrested in 16 nations for saying this. But replace Judaism with Sanatan Dharma and you not only escape arrest, you celebrate the bigotry unabashedly. Uday Stalin uttered, Rahul, a shockingly anti-Hindu, anti-Hinduism statement, and his subsequent clarification was also utterly devoid of truth. Rahul, I personally do not believe in caste. No scientist can or should. In fact, I have said this before with you around. I am a proud Ethiopian and descendant of Lucy. And as for Varna, I'm ambivalent towards it in a strictly technical sense, as long as there is free movement across the four Varnas, which there was in Sanatan Dharma to begin with. Unfortunately, with time, as Ambedkar also pointed out, Varna and caste became intertwined, and even though this was approved by Mahatma Gandhi, the so-called hereditary Varna, it is unacceptable to me. Number three, if a BJP minister had said what Stalin has, and later on what Raja did, about another religion, there'd be a civil war by now, Rahul. But Hindus are easy to abuse. They don't behead transgressors. But when it comes to Islam, remember how PM Manmohan Singh demanded an apology in Parliament from Denmark for the Prophet cartoons. Besides, such statements are DMK founders' stand. Let me explain. Periyar thrived on acrimony, spitefulness and rancor. Let me quote him verbatim because it will be very clear to your viewers. As a first step, we will burn the constitution. Then we will burn Gandhi's photo. Then we will uproot all Gandhi statues. A Brahmin is a snake entangled in our feet. If you see a snake and a Brahmin on the road, kill the Brahmin first, unquote. And Periyar never gathered the courage like Ambedkar did to criticize the regressive, misogynistic, exclusionist and bigoted practices of religions other than Hinduism. In fact, unlike the ruthlessly objective Ambedkar, Periyar praised Abrahamic religions, wanted Hindus to convert to Islam. He was an antithesis of Ambedkar, who he, by the way, disliked and claimed to be on the payrolls of Brahmins. Anyhow, I abhor Periyar's means, but to me, he was proof of the extent to which Hinduism accepts diversity of opinion. The price for apostasy in Hinduism is veneration. What is the price, I ask you, Rahul, for apostasy in Islam? Death, finally. 4. Being a Darwinian atheist, I have no skin in the game, but this much I do know. Hinduism has survived 8 millennia, Rahul, because it imbibes the scientific virtues of diversity, empathy, independent thought and reform. In Hinduism, religion is an offshoot of the way of life. While in Abrahamic ideologies, way of life is an offshoot of religion. It follows, therefore, that the former is less shackled by rigidity or by rules and diktats and is more mutatable, celebrating diversity of its followers. As always, the source, the fountainhead dictates the mutability and eagerness to change. In Hinduism, there are sects that promote and celebrate atheism, Charvaks. There are sects that reject Vedas altogether, Lingayats. How gloriously ironical is that? Rejecting your holy scriptures and yet being proud Hindus. Can this happen in any other religion? Hinduism is an all-accepting, all-questioning idea. Aurangzeb could not eradicate it. Who is Stalin, junior or senior?
Well, let me open this up to Sanjay Jha. Sanjay Jha, I began with a large number of facts to prove that Hindu dharma, etc., is not shackled by dogma. And it has geographic roots. We can't run away from them. Now, if India bloc is invested in Bharat Jodo, runs a Mohammed ki dukaan, then why does it seek to dismantle India's spiritual, philosophical foundations? This is a fundamental question, not to mention hurt so many Hindus.
Rahul, good to see you back on television. It's good to be on your program again. And I'm glad you've started the conversation on an issue I think that needs to be debated. I heard an RSS gentleman before on your show. It always fascinates me when an RSS ideologue quotes Mahatma Gandhi. You know, that to me is a very fascinating analysis of the duplicitousness of the RSS, but we'll come to that a little later. My friend here, Dr. Ranganathan, has been quoting Dr. Ambedkar. So let me start by actually addressing that, and I will basically segue into what Rahul Gandhi wrote in his piece in the Indian Express. Dr. Ranganathan, I need to tell you that when you quote Dr. Ambedkar, cherry picking is like walking into a minefield. We are all students who have read The Annihilation of Caste. But here is two truths, and I'll just quote two. I've got hundreds of them. I can quote all of them if time permits. When Dr. Ambedkar resigned as a law minister, and we all know who were the people who were opposing the Hindu Code Bill, amongst one of the things he said, and that is, Rahul, the problem that Hinduism has inherently is the caste structure. And this is what he said. He said Brahminism, and the truth is that is exactly what the DMK and the Anna DMK are offshoots of in Tamil Nadu, and I'll just come to that in a minute, is the very negation of the spirit of liberty, equality, and fraternity. I have been born as a Hindu untouchable, but he said, I will not die as one. And which is why, as we all know, that along with 3 lakh odd people, he actually converted to Buddhism before his death. Now that to me is an extreme form of the kind of angst that he went through. And you're talking about Dr. Ambedkar here. He was, by the way, a big critique of Mahatma Gandhi on caste. He was, by the way, a critique of the Congress party. So he's a bipartisan individual here, but someone who had a holistic view. He was a student of India's caste structures and Hinduism in particular. And that is the point I wish to make. That the RSS gentleman who came on your show, you should have asked him one political question. Why is the Anna DMK never took a position against Stalin Jr.? Number 2, Anna DMK has broken its alliance with the BJP. Because Anna DMK is aware that what the BJP is doing is conflating a statement made probably in poor taste, and that can be a separate conversation altogether. Nobody will approve of any kind of language which uses an allegory or an analogy which can be deemed by many people to be in poor taste. But the issue in Tamil Nadu has always been ideologically about the Ambedkar movement, the Periyar Ramaswamy's views. And this is the point, that the BJP is trying to conflate a Tamil Nadu ideological, political, social dynamic to the larger play of a social polarization for the Hindi heartland. Sanatan Dharma, by the way, Mahatma Gandhi himself said, I'm a Sanatani Hindu. And I can tell you what is Sanatan, right? The eternal law. It is not just nebulous or an abstract concept. It's about living a life. And that brings me to the last point before we move on. What did Rahul Gandhi say? Rahul Gandhi in his piece, I think, actually has educated the BJP and the RSS who pretend to be custodians of Hinduism. I'm a Brahmin, a very proud Brahmin. I'm a practicing Hindu. But I do not give the rights to Modi, Shah, or the BJP MP on your show, or the RSS gentleman to teach me what Hinduism is. I'll tell you what Rahul says. Rahul Gandhi in his piece said, this is my last line, Rahul, and we can come back on the debate. The action and duty to defend others, especially the weak, is what the Hindu calls as her dharma. And I'll tell you something, as a proud Hindu, I have grown up with compassion and love and tolerance. And that is the intrinsic Hinduism that the RSS and the BJP don't understand.
Well, Sanjay, just a quick one. While you pointed out all these facts and you focused on the last line of Mr. Gandhi's article saying that, look, it makes it incumbent upon everyone to defend the weakest, etc., etc.
Yeah.
Would you say that in India, where since independence, the number of minorities have increased, and in Pakistan, where the number of minorities have actually decreased to the point of being negligible, it all comes down to the faith. Is the Muslim faith fundamentally intolerant? Because had that been the case, why would you then equate Hinduism with hate? Here, the minorities, their numbers have grown. And secondly, when Dr. Ambedkar critiqued the Hindu tradition, he also critiqued the Islamic tradition. And you know what he said about some of the vices and evils there. Would you link them back to the fundamentals? Also,
But
like you are linking the perversions of one tradition to the fundamentals and ready to dismantle Hinduism entirely.
Well, Rahul, I'm glad you asked me that question, but let me give you one very personal, deep episode.
No, forget about the personal deep insight. I'm sure, I just want you to answer on facts. Here in India, the number of minorities have burgeoned, increased. In Pakistan, they have decreased. Is it because Islam is fundamentally intolerant and Hinduism is fundamentally, if you can apply that word, open and embracing? Or is there something more to it? Maybe there are people who misuse faith. You can't rubbish the entire faith, can you?
Yeah, let me answer that. Anyone who studied India's constitution, Rahul, will tell you that while Mrs. Gandhi introduced secularism in the 42nd Amendment during the time of the emergency, India has always been, even without it being written in the constitution, a secular country.
Why?
I think you...
But why? Why? Because aren't we girded by a Hindu ethos which is tolerant?
Well, 1 minute. The reason why India is India today, and we are talking about becoming a better economy, etc., is the way we have practiced
we are talking
pluralism
about
and
tolerance.
diversity in our country. It's a tolerance which
it's
has become
because
our
we
biggest
practice
strength.
Hinduism, because Hinduism itself is eternally universal. So if you practice it, you will be tolerant. There will be no...
This is not...
Okay, anyhow, let me open this up.
One last slide.
Important points.
This is not about one religion. It's about India.
Well, then why are DMK and the RJD and other partners of the Congress party hell-bent on dismantling the entire Hindu tradition? Why?
I mean, how are you saying that?
They're saying it, sir. They're saying it should be eradicated.
Well, everyone... No, I think asking for a caste census, by the way...
Why are you bringing in caste census to this?
No.
First of all, it's not a census, it's a survey. Anyhow, let me open this up.
Caste census because you want to improve the lives of the Hindus living at the bottom of the pyramid.
That doesn't flow from the question I asked you. But nonetheless, let's just keep it open. Dr. Ranganathan, you're raising your hand. Very quickly, sir, before I bring in Nalin and Mr. Rakesh Sinha. Yeah.
Very, very quickly, on a lighter note, Rahul, your platform may have changed, but the train hasn't. Jha Express still comes, bereft of all facts. And I'm sorry to say that, even though Sanjay is a good friend. I never quoted Ambedkar. I never cherry-picked him, so the question doesn't arise. And I could have, because yes, I did say, what is the price for apostasy in Hinduism? And Ambedkar said, I am born a Hindu, I will not die a Hindu. He was an apostate. But the price in Hinduism was Bharat Ratna. I said the price for apostasy in Islam is beheading, is death. And here, when he is talking about Mahatma Gandhi, let me quote Mahatma Gandhi directly. Sanjay, please don't interrupt. I will interrupt.
Okay, gentlemen, let's I get the thrust, and that's why I asked that fundamental question.
Let me just end by quoting Mahatma Gandhi on his birth anniversary, because this would be very clear to what Sanjay is saying. I am quoting Mahatma Gandhi now. I believe in the Varna system because it fixes the duties and occupations of persons. Okay. Varna means the determination of a man's occupation before he is born. In the Varna system, no man has any liberty to choose his occupation. His occupation is determined for him by heredity. Unquote, Mahatma Gandhi. Sanjay, do you believe in Mahatma Gandhi now? In hereditary Varna system?
Rahul, give me a chance to answer him. Give me a chance to answer him. Anand, let me answer your question since you asked me. I disagree with Mahatma Gandhi on his views on caste. You asked me a question, I disagree with him. By the way,
okay, Rakesh Sinha, let me bring him in. Gentlemen, let's not speak over each other. That's not the intention here. That's not the intention here. I asked the simple, basic questions. I haven't got simple, basic answers. I've got convoluted answers. Nalin Mehta is there. Rakesh Sinha is there. Rakesh Sinha, you're a member of parliament. I want to ask you a question. You're accused, your party is accused of weaponizing the Hindu tradition. There have been atrocities on minorities, says the India bloc. They point them out. They say that the way you have underwritten the practice of the Hindu faith promotes casteism, that your party itself doesn't represent the diversity of the Hindu tradition. So I'm asking you, how do you answer to this charge?
Before coming to that, I have an observation on Rahul Gandhi's piece. This is a failed attempt of the 10th class student to write an essay on Hinduism. The way he describes Hinduism is really very simple state for a Congress top leadership. He points out that Hinduism is related to the fear, and he begins with a very negativism. I just say that this has been deliberated by the British Census Commissioner in 8 censuses, right from 1872 to 1941, during the colonial period. They have debated who is a Hindu. The question was raised in 1872 census. Ultimately, they came to the conclusion that Hinduism is a way of life. Okay. It begins and lives with the diversity. I have a question. Just reduce the Hindus in India in minority. Can anybody watch on this globe that India would be a secular nation? Why India was partitioned in 1947? Was it only principle or it was a religion, cause of the religion? Demographic change of India led the partition of the country. And the demography of the Hindus in Pakistan and Bangladesh have been reduced to the minimal stage. And how Rahul Gandhi describes, if Hindus believes in evolving, that is true. It believes in evolving, it believes in inclusiveness. But how you believe those religions who don't believe in Upanishad, 2 words. Rahul Gandhi claimed that he read Upanishad. Neti, neti. This is not, that is not.
Okay, that's
so
fine.
Contestation is
but
the core of the
Mr.
Hindu
Sinha, I asked you a simple question.
I'm coming.
Give me some time.
Give me some time. They have deliberated
the virtues of Hindu tradition. I just want you to answer.
Can Islam and Christianity, other religion, claim the same thing, evolving the religion and taking advantage of the multiculturalism is one aspect. You can take advantage of multiculturalism. Everyone should be.
No one gets that point, Mr. Sinha. I'm specifically asking you.
How are you contributing to the multiculturalism?
Okay, the reason why the India bloc is wanting the dismantling of the Hindu tradition is because you have weaponized it. Can you respond to that charge?
Yes, I am responding. You know, there has been a struggle even before the Congress was born, even before the Britishers came to India. The struggle was to restore the Ram Janmabhoomi, and BJP just had given the tactical support to the Ram Janmabhoomi movement on principled ground. It's not a political ground. Can Sanjay Jha or Rahul Gandhi say that the construction of the Ram Janmabhoomi temple is a weaponizing Hindu? Can he say that Prime Minister Narendra Modi's contribution in a reconstruction of the
No, they are talking about atrocities in specific against minorities. And where are they coming from?
I'm coming. Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji came into the power 2014. Okay. 2014 to 2023. Can Sanjay Jha or Congress claim a single Muslim has been victimized, single Christian has been victimized?
Rahul, I need to respond to this.
Just schemes and programs of the government, Ayushman Yojana, Jan Dhan Yojana.
We understand that, Mr. Sinha. I asked you about violence. I asked you about violence, about vituperative speech.
Rahul, I need to respond.
One second, Mr. Jha. I didn't ask you the question. Let me do my job. I'm asking the Bharatiya Janata Party MP 2 or 3 questions. I'm sure these are the questions that you would also want to hear responses to. Yes. So let's listen to him.
But he's dodging.
Mr. I know, that's why I'm asking him a follow-up question. I'm getting to the nub of the matter. If you allow me, sir, I would be able to. Now, Mr. Sinha, the central and straight question is, they have accused you of weaponizing the Hindu tradition, of basically using some of its greatest symbols to perpetuate violence against minorities. Do you see that as a problem emanating from the philosophy, or do you believe that there are some people who are using it for an ulterior motive? Simple question, sir.
I don't know. The people who are attacking the Sanatan Dharma and Rahul Gandhi is silent. And comparing Sanatan Dharma with the mosquito, of the dengue mosquito, And Rahul Gandhi's piece in the newspaper is silent.
We're not.
I'm coming to that.
We're not getting a straight answer there. Let me. Okay, let's open this up further.
No, I'm
Nalin has been waiting his turn very patiently. No, one second, Rakesh ji. 1 second, please.
Rahul,
let me bring in.
Rahul, just give me 30 seconds. I just
Okay, 30 seconds. I'll give you the last 30 seconds, sir. Come on.
In Kerala, T.K. Joseph's hand was chopped off.
Sir, again, what about I'm asking you about the crimes that are attributed to Hindu groups.
By the Hinduism?
Okay, 1 second.
Why
let me just open this up.
On the question of love jihad?
Okay, just let me. You're again, sir, changing the group. I'm asking you about certain Hindu groups who have gone about doing things which don't measure up to the ethos of the Hindu tradition. I'm not getting a straight answer. You can condemn them. It's very simple. You can say that they're distorting the idea.
Just tell me the one example. I will
okay, there's several. Let's not go down that list. There are many on one side, there are many on the other. Anyhow, let me bring in Nalin Mehta. Nalin Mehta, simple question to you. How do you see this Bharat Jodo slogan that the India bloc has coined? Do you believe it's going to have traction? After all, this is a war of narratives. We are going into the last 6 months before the 2024 elections. Is it based on fundamentally sound logic, or will the people see through it?
So I think, Rahul, as far as Rahul Gandhi is concerned and the Bharat Jodo slogan is concerned, that is fundamentally aimed at trying to get some of the initiative back from the BJP. The Congress was at its nadir about 7 or 8 or 9 months back. The Congress has had a revival. Following the Yatra, you've had a triumph in Karnataka. He certainly managed to galvanize the Congress party faithful in certain states. Now, as far as the issue for Rahul Gandhi is always going to be, is that enough to galvanize the middle of the roaders, the unaligned voter, or the voter who's for the BJP? That, I think, is still a very open question. On the question of the Sanatan Dharma debate, I do want to add a point here, Rahul. I've been listening to all the panelists so far. See, Rahul Gandhi, this is not Rahul Gandhi's first intervention on Sanatan Dharma. He's been talking about Hindutva for a very long time now. Before 2014, you had the temple hopping, you had the idea that he was a Shiv Bhakt. He's also made a distinction between Hinduism and Hindutva, most recently in his debate at Sianspo. See, the thing is, the latest article that he's put out, actually, I think is interesting, and it's got a lot of liberals talking, but I think it's very devoid of the cultural and the commonsensical understanding of Sanatan Dharma in the wider populace on the North Indian street. This is a very woke way of looking at Hinduism. The moment you denuded all of the cultural, religious and the deep historical ideas around Hinduism and put it only in very abstract terms, that might win you some brownie debating points, but I'm not sure that the commonsensical understanding of Sanatan Dharma, at least in North India, which is about what Hinduism generally is, which may be different from how certain scholars may look at, that I think, I'm not sure that will cut much ice with voters beyond a certain small circle.
I would agree.
Well, viewers will...
Rahul, can I respond?
Yes. Last 30 seconds,
Rahul,
Yes. So, Rahul, 2
Rahul,
points.
I condemn
2 points very
Sanjay,
quickly.
One second. Dr. Ranganathan, quick, and then Sanjay. Yes, go ahead.
Yes, first of all, I condemn Sanjay for writing that article in Indian Express. It gives Rahul Gandhi as well as every other Hindu a very bad name. Number 2, it is very insulting and cruel for Rahul to say that Rahul Gandhi to say that a Hindu is not a victim. I ask point blank every panelist, are 7 lakh Kashmiri Hindus not victims of state-sanctioned genocide? Is that not victim? What are you trying to say here? They are refugees in their own land, Rahul. You are one of them. To say that you are not a victim is an insult and cruel beyond imagination.
Okay, Sanjay, very quickly.
Yeah, Rahul, 2 short points. I don't think Mr. Sinha or Dr. Ranganathan can answer it. But Ramesh Bhiduri's statement in Parliament, where he called Danish Ali by the most offensive, ugly, outrageous names to a Muslim MP, was a statement that a BJP MP made in Parliament, and Narendra Modi is silent. It is insulting to all the minority members of the Muslim community in India. This is the BJP and the RSS for you. On the second point here, very critical. Rahul Gandhi, by the way, this is where I disagree even with Nalan, is basically given you what he, I think, correctly has interpreted as the ideological meaning of Hinduism. And that is about love and compassion. Look at this line. She loves all living beings. That is Hinduism. She
Well, if
loves
that is
respect and
Hinduism,
accept
sir,
all paths.
if that is
the core
Hinduism,
of
then it is
Hinduism.
also then
Not lynching.
okay. If that
Not
is
lynching,
Hinduism,
not Ramesh Biduri.
Rahul,
right, sir. Then if
Hindu-
that is
Hindus
Hinduism,
compassion-
then I'm sure that certain individuals who are calling for the eradication of Hinduism militantly need also to be called out, right? We don't hear that.
Correct.
No. There are people who have said
which
that he's
people,
talked
sir?
about the
Where
caste
has Rahul
system
Gandhi
and
has Rahul Gandhi come out and criticized? Now you've talked about
Well
Mr.
said.
Biduri, awful remarks to make. I agree with you,
Absolutely.
awful. But that doesn't
Absolutely.
mean that that doesn't mean that he is tracing his entire philosophical bent of mind or whatever outlook that he sort of purports to have sort of overburdened himself on the poor hapless Rajya Sabha MP. Comes from a Hindu tradition. No, it doesn't. All I'm asking you simply is this, and I think that was a question that Dr. Ranganathan also posed. And there's a fundamental question that if we are
Stalin
such
Jr.
a, if we are
Rahul,
such
Stalin
a,
Jr. has answered and clarified it himself. Why do I need to do it?
no, he
or Rahul
hasn't
Gandhi
actually.
should do
He
it?
hasn't
He
actually,
has.
and
He
there
has.
is a problem. Anyhow, let me leave it at this. We're going to take a short break. The big caste debate coming up. Nalin Mehta is with us. We'll also be joined by Mr. Sushil Modi. Important viewers, come right back. Viewers, India Bloc in Bihar has decided to release the findings of a caste survey the Nitish government has undertaken in the state. The publication of the survey report has sparked a war of words. India Bloc parties have hailed the results of the historic moment. The Nitish Kumar government says the caste survey will provide information about the economic condition of the caste and will help in customizing solutions to their unique needs. The findings of the survey are likely to trigger demands to raise quotas for OBCs, SCs and STs, which are presently capped at 27% nationally. However, many states have already breached that limit. The BJP has dismissed the survey report as an eyewash, time to lure Dalits, Mahadalits and OBCs to the India Bloc's fold and boost its poll numbers. Some BJP leaders have also said that the survey is an attempt at dividing the Hindu community to blunt the BJP's success in building a rainbow coalition and a cohesive vote bank of disparate castes. The caste survey report indicates 36% of the population are from the extremely backward classes, 27.1% are from backward classes, 19.7% are from scheduled castes, and 1.7% are from scheduled tribes. The general population is about 15.5%. The state's total population is over 13 crores. So, significant amount of reservation that will have to now go out if all these statistics have to be matched with quotas. The survey also said the Yadav community, the group to which Deputy Chief Minister Tejashwi Yadav belongs, is the largest subgroup, accounting for 14.27% of all OBC categories. Now, viewers, the release of this survey comes even as the SC is hearing a petition seeking to reverse a Patna High Court order permitting the Nitish government to release the survey. Now, let me very quickly break it down for you. There is an apprehension that this particular survey is extremely political because it is only aimed at perpetuating identity politics to benefit certain political parties who will take this data now to launch many more reservation schemes. Now, viewers, in the past, the caste survey was abandoned. It was abandoned by the UPA itself, the people who are today championing it. 2011 caste survey data was never made public. This was because it was found to have many flaws, and we can put that out for you. Niti Aayog panel was tasked to assess the survey flaws. Panel never met and data was not collated. So why the change of heart? And is this survey method, and remember it's a survey not a census, absolutely foolproof? Is it robust? Is it above question? Fundamental questions tonight, but I leave it on the hard facts for you to think about these issues. I'm going to go straight across to Anand Narasimhan, who joins us with the right stand. Anand, take it away. You're always, of course, standing with the right side of the argument.
Thanks for that, Rahul. Namaste and Jai Hind, ladies and gentlemen. Let's start with what's happened across the country over the 1st and the 2nd on the occasion of Gandhi Jayanti, celebrating Swachhta with Shramdan. Swachhanjali to Bapu, Union Ministers taking part in a mass cleanliness drive. 9 years of this entire Swachh Bharat mission, and it's a record of sorts because the unofficial numbers, although the data is still being collated, point to more than 8 crore Bharatiya participating in the Swachhanjali.